Hi, it's Andy, and today I'm bringing you my September wrap-up. Now, as you know, I've been in a little bit of a slump lately, but in September we kind of managed to get out of that slump, ? Not only did I manage to read 12 books, I actually thoroughly enjoyed pretty much all of those books. I don't think there was any that I was like, nah, it's fine. Like, I think I genuinely enjoyed all of the books. So, I am ecstatic about that. I do want to just show off my shirt. I have a help desk trainee t-shirt, which is from For Whom the Bell Tolls. Got my there's a little pin. I keep showing this pin that I got when I got the book as a pre-order bonus sort of thing. And yeah, so I got the help desk t-shirt and I'm very thrilled with it. It is the same colour she uses in her skits, so I am buzzing about that. But on to the books, because I do not have enough time to film right now because Kay is currently cooking tea. So the first thing I read was I Got Abducted by Aliens and Now I'm Trapped in a Rom-Com by Kimberly Lemming. That was, honestly, her titles are absolute mouthfuls every single time. And I had no idea what I was getting into in this book. It's like, I don't know how else to describe it. She gets abducted by aliens and then ends up on this planet with different aliens and a talking lion, which was a curveball, I'm not gonna lie. So this follows our main character Dorothy, which is hilarious, who is a wildlife conservationist photographer, and she is on this trip with her group that they go with, the company that she works for, and she is watching these meerkats go to war. I'm not even kidding. And it made me have to look up what a pregnant meerkat looks like. If you know, you know. But I had to Google that because I needed to know. Anyway, so she is photographing these meerkats as they're about to go to war, and suddenly she senses danger. And as she turns, there is a lion that is about to pounce on her. And then suddenly something happens and she is sucked up into an alien spacecraft and wakes up and is like, what the hell just happened? Am I dead? Is this heaven? Is this hell? What is going on? And she decides, like, F this, I am escaping from this alien ship. And she ends up on this planet, crash landing on this planet in a pod. And strange things start to happen. Honestly, if you like Kimberly Lemming, you're going to love this book. If you like the Mead Mishaps books, you're going to like these. Like this. I hope there's more. I think there's more coming. But there's, like, you encounter all these things. We've got an alien, a pink dinosaur, a lion. Like, this is just utter chaos in the best way. Like, if you like smutty fun, chaos, any Kimberly Lemming book, this is definitely for you, because it's just so on point for her. So the next thing I read was Breaking Point by Mad Rafferty, who is on YouTube if you want to watch her videos. I read this because there's a YouTuber I watch who is friends with Mads, and also read this book and loves it, even though she doesn't like hockey romance. And I was like, well, you and I, we like the same kind of books, so I ended up reading it. And I absolutely loved it. This is, if you like ice hockey romance, if like you're an ice hockey romance reader, this I would say is in more sort of line with Emily Rath and Stephanie Archer, hockey romance wise, than some of the other ones that I've read. Maybe some Peyton Corain as well mixed in there, because this is not just like a fluffy, happy hockey romance. This gets quite dark. So Grayson, who's the hockey player, he has spiralled after the death of a family member, and he has got himself into some terrible, terrible habits, such as alcoholism, and he is not coping very well, and that gets him in trouble. Enter Bella, who is struggling with her mother's healthcare bills, who is basically trying to hold herself up and her mum up, and her life is just falling apart. Things just are not going her way. So Bella is hired as Grayson's, I was going to say caretaker, that's not what I meant, assistant, and she starts to work for him, and he doesn't want her there. He's fired every other assistant that's come. He just wants to be left alone to drown in his sorrows. But she needs this job. She needs the money. She needs the money for her mum's treatments, for her mum's medical bills, for the debt that they've accrued because of that. She is desperate and she will pretty much do almost anything to pay her mum's bills. So she is like, keeping going, even though he's continually horrible to her and trying to get rid of her. She just will not stop. And he starts to really like enjoy seeing her, like look forward to her being there. She doesn't take his crap and she doesn't pander to him like other people do. And it sort of starts with a combination of like him getting in trouble with the team as well. The combination of them kind of starts to help him see that he is in a position where he needs to change, or his life is going to just get even more out of control. But then things get a little bit awkward when they realise that he needs to get his image a bit better. His publicist, his agent, says that he needs to find a fake girlfriend to make him look good. And of course they all look at Bella because she is right there and she is perfect, and he refuses to work with anybody else. And so they hire her to be his fake girlfriend. And we all know where this goes because it never ends fake. These two, just like, their relationship is so good. Like, I love the way they were written. This is so painful. I cried. The things that they go through as individual characters, the things they go through together. It just has a lot of heart. It has a lot of heart, and it's just honestly so good. I love this book so much. And then I read my arc of Brigands and Bread Knives by Travis Baldree. This is the third book in the Legends and Lattes sort of set. It is the second in... It's the third, but it's also like the second because it is a direct sequel to Legends and Lattes, but then like there's another one, Bookshops and Bone Dust, is like a prequel. It's a whole. It's the third one he's written in this world, and it follows a character that we meet in Bookshops and Bone Dust. I can never say that title. I always struggle. As she comes to stay in the village where Viv has set up her coffee shop and decides to open a bookshop there, but her life still isn't quite what she wants. She just feels unfulfilled. And so one drunken night, by kind of half mistake, she ends up falling asleep in the back of a cart, which just happens to be the cart of a legendary person in this world, a legendary elf, shield maiden or sword maiden or something maiden. I can't remember exactly what it is, and ends up accidentally kind of going on an adventure with her. The idea is she'll go to the next town, she'll get dropped off, she'll go home, but she kind of gets a little bit of a bug for helping her out, and things are happening in this world that are unusual to say the least. So she decides, you know what, I'm going to keep coming with you, and I'll go home eventually. And she just keeps going and going and going on these adventures. And honestly, I think this one, I was going to say it's my favourite, but it's not. I think Legends of Lattes will probably always be my favourite because I really love that proper cosy fantasy where nothing really happens. But this one I think is definitely angled more towards people who like fantasy, like high fantasy type things, because they're travelling, there's action, there's things happening. But I really liked it because it didn't feel as high stakes and like a lot that some fantasies can get. So yeah, I think this is maybe my second favourite. Legend of Lattes is always going to be number one, but I really enjoyed this, and I don't know where I'll go. It wasn't, I started off not enjoying it, but by the end I really enjoyed it, so take that as you will. And then I read Wildcard by Elsie Silver. This is book 4 in the Rose Hill series. So this follows a character we know from Rose Hill whose name is Bash. And Bash we see throughout the entirety, I think, of the 4 books. But our female main character, again, whose name I can't remember, Gwen, we meet, I think, in the last book, as she befriends, like, the girls in the group. And we know Gwen has come and she teaches yoga in this town. And Bash is the local firefighter. He is a plane firefighter, so he flies those planes that, like, load up in water and then, like, dump the water all over the fire. So that's what he does. He is a pilot, firefighter, which is, you know, obviously a very dangerous job. But something that he's very passionate about. So this takes us back before Gwen even enters Rose Hill, and it takes us to the airport where all the flights get cancelled and Bash is stuck in this airport, and he knows he's not going to find a hotel. He can't drive anywhere. The snowstorm is too bad. They're just not going to get out of there. And who does he bump into but Gwen? Again, this is before she comes to town. They don't know each other. She is literally just the only person that will go near this grumpy man and force him to share his table. And they hit it off. They spend the whole night together, keeping each other company, doing silly things, getting to know one another. And they have this moment, they have this connection that is really, really beautiful. And then, as it turns out, a little while later, Bash goes to his son's birthday party. Now, I should point out, this is an age gap. Bash was 15 when his son was born. He was not told about this until his son was in his 20s. So, like, at the point that he and Gwen meet at the airport, he's only just found out that he has a son. He is now in his son is now 24, I think his son is. Something like that. Yeah, his son's 23, 24. He's just found out about him. So he's 15, so that's 39. He's 39 when we first meet him. And Gwen is 27. Now, he turns up to his son's birthday party, only to find his son's girlfriend is there. And his son's girlfriend is Gwen. And by girlfriend, I mean they've been dating for like a couple of months. And things get real awkward real fast. And then that blows up. And then a little while later, Gwen turns up in his town. No idea that he lives there. She just by chance ends up there teaching at the local yoga studio. And he is determined to stay away from her, but he's also determined for her not to think he's a total asshole. And she is determined to, again, get on side, but like, she's also really, really mad at him. It's just, I don't know if any of this is making sense, but like, these two end up, so one of the guys that's in, like, he's this strange guy that is in, like, an older guy who's a bit of a wackadoodle, like, tinfoil hat style, that the group kind of, like, looks after, like he's their father. He ends up really unwell and he has to go on dialysis and needs a kidney, and Bash decides to give him his kidney, and Gwen has been taking care of him, unbeknownst to Bash. And so when Bash is like, you're going to move in with me while you're healing from this kidney transplant because you're not allowed to be alone and your house is in the middle of the woods, and the guy's like, of course, as long as I can bring my carer. And he's like, you bring your carer, that is absolutely no problem. And then Gwen rocks up and he's like, that's you fucker, because he knows that the other guy knows that they like each other, but they just won't admit it. Anywho, yeah, that sounds chaotic. That's in the first, like, that is the setup of the book. That is the setup of the book. And then they have to live together while this man is here, and then he's trying to get to know his son, and like they're trying to get along because they have to live in the same house, but they're trying not to like each other, and it's just a whole mess, and I loved it. And then one of my pre-orders came that I was very, very excited about, and that is the new Dan Brown book. It's called The Secret of Secrets, and it is the new Robert Langdon book. I have not read a Langdon book for so long. I think the last one was Origins or Inferno. I don't remember. Origins, I can see them from here. So if you don't know who Robert Langdon is, I'm sure you do, but you just don't realise. So I'm looking at the book so I can read the titles out. So the first book is Angels and Demons, and then The Da Vinci Code, which is the one that people will most likely know, and then The Lost Symbol, and then Inferno, and then Origins, and then The Secret of Secrets. So this is the latest in the Langdon books, where we see Langdon in Prague, and he is there because Catherine Solomon, who we meet in previous books, has invited him. She is doing a keynote lecture on she's releasing the book, she's releasing new science, and so she is doing a lecture on that, and she's invited him as her guest. But they also have like a relationship going on, which is really cute. And so he goes and he ends up in Prague, and they end up embroiled in this I was going to say conspiracy, this madness that seems to happen around Robert Langdon, when he goes for a run, comes back, Catherine is missing, her dream has come true, suddenly he thinks that their lives are in danger, and he gets pulled into this whole situation with a sort of bad guy who calls himself the Golem. The Golem, if you don't know, is a figure in Jewish scripture who protected the Jews. We actually meet the Golem as well, or meet a Golem in Discovery of Witches, the second book as well. But the Golem is a clay creature that in Jewish texts, I don't know if it's in the Torah or if it's somewhere else, in Jewish texts, try saying that, it's really difficult, Jewish texts, where the the word truth was inscribed on his head, and he would patrol the Jewish quarter and protect the people, but then he turned on his creator, and his creator scraped one of the letters off, which then changed the word from truth to death, and the golem died, which is a nutshell of the golem. So this character, the golem, is partly behind what is going on, and the other half is the American government being sneaky because people in power. But yeah, this is just a classic. If you like the Da Vinci Code, like, this is very much more the Da Vinci Code than it is anything else. Da Vinci Code Lost Symbol has more of a like connection to this, not connection, but like the way when I read Inferno and Origins, I didn't get the same feel that I got in Da Vinci Code and Lost Symbol, but I got that feel again in here. You're going across Prague, you're going to these different places, you're learning about these new sciences. Catherine is a scientist of noetics. She specialises in noetics, which is, you would need to read the book or Google it to explain it, because I'm not going to sit here and explain noetics to you because I don't understand it enough to do it justice. But she is working on this new science about the human consciousness and connection, and it is fascinating. And I love that one of the things I love about Dan Brown books is that if you look in the front, if you look at the, not necessarily the dedication, but there's a page, so there's a page always at the start that says fact, or at least in this one, this is what it says: fact. All artwork, artifacts, symbols and documents in this novel are real. All experiments, technologies and scientific results are true to life. All organisations in this novel exist. So there's a layer of truth to these novels which makes them that much more magical to me, because when you take truth in things that exist and you layer over this story that is completely fantastical, like not fantastical in the sense of like magic or fairies or like things like that, not that kind of fantastical, but fantastical in the sense of like that would never happen in real life. Like, let's face it, this is never going to happen in real life. I mean, he's a professor, he's not dismantling the CIA, it's not happening. You know, there's not things going on in the Vatican. There may be things going on in the Vatican that we don't know about, but Robert Langdon is not going to be the one to solve them. You know, this one doesn't have the Vatican. I'm talking about the other general. Anyway, yeah, so in this we you know, travel across Prague and find out things about Prague's history, and I knew nothing about Prague before I started this book. We've got a lovely map of Prague, and I absolutely love this, and it makes me want to go to Prague. So hey ho. I think it's actually Prague that they're in Shadow of Night as well. Who knew? Yeah, if you like any of the other Langdon books, you will definitely love this, and I'm so excited. I hope this means he's back to writing more books. Then I read another arc. Look at me reading my arcs, and that is Revolve by Balcabra. This is book 3 in the Off the Ice series. And in this one we go back to college. So in this one we follow Sierra, who was an Olympian figure skater, but after a bad accident where she is badly injured, she is pretty much too scared to go on the ice and is extremely petrified of being lifted. She just cannot have herself be lifted, but she still wants to make it to, you know, qualifying and things like that this year. Very reminiscent of Unsteady by Peyton Corinne, although that is the hockey player that takes the bad hit. This is a figure skater who again suffers a bad injury and is then, you know, terrified of getting back on the ice, but she knows that's where she belongs. We also follow one of the hockey boys that we meet again in the first one, because again we are back at the college. I can't remember what college it is, don't ask me, but it's the same college from Collide. So he has been reckless and has taken some drugs that he should not have. I think he just like smoked weed or something at a party where he got blackout drunk and can't remember what he did, and it has been detected in his drug test, and so he ends up being kicked off the hockey team, which is obviously disastrous for him because he is at the stage where he's been picked up for NHL contracts and stuff like that. So he is looking down the barrel of his entire life being ruined for one small mistake that he has made. And within this, he ends up trying to show everybody that he is not the fuck up that everybody thinks he is. He wants to redeem his image. He wants to show people the person that he actually is, not the person that he has recklessly become because of past trauma, which will, you know, come up again. And so he ends up partnering with Sierra in figure skating because her partner now has a new partner. because he can't wait for her, basically, and he's a douche. So Dylan ends up skating with Sierra, and at first she's like, absolutely not, no way, there's no way I'm going to partner with that idiot. He's a nice hockey player, he can barely skate, blah, blah, blah. What she doesn't know is that he and his sister used to do figure skating doubles, so he can, in fact, figure skate very well. They did competitions, they used to win, and yeah, so they end up hearing to do figure skating, get her on the ice and get her more confident. He's obviously being a hockey player, and I think he might be a defenseman as well, I can't remember. He is a big guy, he is strong, he can lift and throw and catch her like nobody's business because of his agility and strength, and she feels a lot more comfortable knowing that like he is like, it's like me, I had a car crash, follow the thread. I was driving a Vauxhall Corsa and a van hit the back of me. It could have been a lot worse of an accident, but the spare tyre in my boot popped up and caught itself between the two supporting bars, so the car didn't crumple as much. It was still almost a write-off, let me tell you. But that was a Vauxhall Corsa, and after that I could not drive that car. I could not drive a small car, so now I have a big car. I did go to a Vauxhall Mokka, and now I have a Ford Kuga because I feel more comfortable in a big car. Is it going to save me if I have an accident more than the Corsa would have? No, because they all have the same safety rating. Do I feel better because it's bigger? Yes. And that is basically, like, she feels a bit better because he is, like, known for being able to take hits. Like, he is a big guy. So, he is, like, big and strong, and he can lift her like she weighs nothing. So, it's fine. Whereas our old partner used to, when he lifted her, which I think is just a being a dick. Anyway, I digress. So, yeah, this is, again, one of those ice hockey romances where it delves a little bit deeper into mental health and things like that. I think Balacabra has definitely taken a turn in her writing, because her first book was a lot more fluffy. Like, other people really enjoyed it, and I did as well. It's not like I'm saying I didn't like it. I'm just saying, like, the hard hitting, like, Unsteady for me really, really, I'm saying that because they get paired together quite often, especially because Pete and Corinne and Balacabra are friends, so they get paired together quite a lot. Unsteady for me was really, like, because we're dealing with traumatic brain injury, PTSD, things like that. Like, it was really delved into, like, the mental health side of things, whereas for me, Collide did have, like, there was, like, conflict and stuff like that with Summer and her dad and the relationship they had, but for me, I really enjoy when they look at serious mental health things. And again, the second book, Spiral, it went into mental health a little bit. It went into, like, self-worth and racism and things like that, and in, like, the ballet industry. But for me, this one really really dug in, because, like I say, she had a really traumatic injury, kind of like our character has in Unsteady, and I think that this Spiral was not everybody's favourite, and I get that, and Collide was not my favourite. I mean, I've not read the updated version of Collide, I only read the indie published KU version, so I've not read it when an editor's been over it, but Revolve was just so good. It's so good. I'm so excited to see what Balacabra writes next, because her characters just, you know, the characters come back, you see characters from other books, you see characters that aren't main characters in other books, and she just creates this community of characters that I love to read about. Next, I caved and I read the Murderbot Diaries. So this is volume 1 of the bind-ups. So this is All Systems Red and Artificial Condition. I actually bought this at a LGBT bookshop in York that is just off the Shambles. There was an Apple TV sticker on it, and I've not been able to get the residue off. I tried wipes, it's not working. If anybody knows how to get sticker residue off of books, it's like a matte feel as well, like a velvety, matte feel. If you know how to get the residue off, please let me know. So yes, this has All Systems Red and Artificial Condition. I finally gave up. Vicky and Tori are constantly telling me, and Bobby, like, they're all constantly telling me that I am Murderbot. Murderbot is me. We are one and the same person. So that I should read it, and that I will enjoy it, etc, etc. And with the TV show coming out and it being Alexander Skarsgård, who I love. I've loved Alexander Skarsgård since he was in True Blood. He is just a phenomenal actor. A phenomenal person. I love everything he's in. And so I was like, right, okay, I'm going to have to watch it if Alexander Skarsgård is in it. So the thing is, though, if I'm going to watch it, I'm going to want to read the book. So I got this from the LGBT shop in York, and I then ended up reading All Systems Red and Artificial Condition. So if you don't know anything about Murderbot, believe me, you're going to want to know about Murderbot. So Murderbot is a sec unit, which is a composite robot, where it's not composite, it's not the word. They do have a name for it that begins with a C, but I can't remember what it is. But he is part organic material, part robot. So most of his body is it is mostly like metal and plastic and what you'd expect from a robot. But for example, his face in the TV show, his whole body is skin. But in this, it's like his face and his neck is skin. I think his hands might be skin. Like there are bits of him that have skin, like actual human skin is grown in a lab. He has neural tissue, so like brain matter tissue, and he has a mix of blood and lubricant within his system. So he does have like actual human parts in him, and he has hacked his government. I keep saying he. It isn't it. It does not. It refers to itself as it. So I just, because I'm thinking of Alexander Skarsgård, I keep saying he. Forgive me. So Murderbot has hacked its governor module, and what its governor module is basically the thing that controls the robot, or the thing that keeps it in line. So if it decides, hey, I'm going to kill everybody, governor module takes it out. If it gets far enough away from its client, governor module takes it out. The governor module literally governs the system. And what he does is he hacks this what it does is it hacks the governor module. I can't say it anymore, it doesn't sound like a word. And he decides that he's going to be free. So what he does to be free is he downloads a whole ass bunch of media, like TV shows and stuff, and just spends its time watching them. It still does its job, it still pretends to be a regular sec unit, but it is not. And it names itself Murderbot, and that is amazing. So this series just follows Murderbot as it tries to sort of decide what it wants to do in its life. So the first one, it is on a job where it is with a bunch of hippy-dippy scientists from this planet coalition called Preservation Alliance. And Preservation Alliance, like I say, are hippy-dippy. So they are out with the what is it called? Something rim. They're outside the rim. CR is the initials of it. It's like, what's the word for when you buy stuff? Oh my god, I have no brain. So most of like the planets and the different things, they're all part of this group that, you know, they will own people's labour, like they will conscript people to work on mining facilities or planets or, you know, things like that. And Preservation Alliance is out with that. So they do not have, like, they have everything for free. Like all your food, your necessities, your house, everything is free. It's like communism, but it actually works. Like everybody gets all the money and stuff, all the resources go into the main body and they are distributed to where they are actually needed, and it actually works for them. And on Preservation, they see bots and things like Murderbot as free people, free agents. So he is allowed, it is allowed to go there. Like if it went there, it would be its own person, but not really, because it would still have to have a guardian. Anyway, so he is working with this group who are from Preservation Alliance, and they are doing some surveying on this planet. And he is there, basically, it is there to make sure that they are safe and that nothing randomly pops up and harms them. So of course, they don't listen to him, and this giant monster creature comes out of the earth and grabs one of the scientists, and Murderbot steps into action, gets rid of the creature, gets itself bitten in the meantime, and gets them back to the hab, where they can get into the med unit and get everything sorted. But because of his behaviour and because of certain things he does and says, there are suspicions, especially with Dr. Garathan, who is the augmented human on the team, where he thinks this bot is not quite bot-like enough for my liking. And Dr. Garathan's a little bit of a dick at the start. He does grow, but, you know, at the start, we don't really trust him. Now, at the same time, there are things happening on this trip that are just a bit sus. The maps aren't right. They can't get a hold of the other team that are meant to be there from a different planet. It's a whole thing. And so this team decide to, basically, they need to keep themselves, it's almost like a locked door horror. Like, imagine you're stuck on a planet with people that you know are trying to kill you. Animals and fauna that you didn't know existed that are trying to kill you. a robot that has been supplied that has guns in its arms and knows how to kill you in several different ways that you don't have control over, and you just have to trust that it's not going to kill you. And the only way to get off this planet is to send a beacon to the company, and the company will maybe get there in about a week to pick you up. That's your emergency beacon, a week to pick you up. So yeah, like, you're stuck on this planet and things are going down. But in the meantime, they discover that, yeah, indeed, Murderbot does not have a working, functioning governor module. But because they're from preservation, most of them aren't scared of Murderbot, especially Dr. Mensa. Dr. Mensa sees Murderbot as a person and just wants to help it be free and do what it wants. The rest of the series then continues on, like, following Murderbot as it discovers what it can do. Like, it wants to figure out things about its past, and it also just wants to watch the rise and fall of Sanctuary Moon, frankly. Because I'm not going to describe the whole series to you, I did also read Exit Strategy and Rogue Protocol. I can't remember what order these are in. These are actually borrowed from Vicky because my copies weren't going to be here in time, but I got, again, the volume 2, which has these two in it. I have read the rest of the series. I'm up to date, but that's for next month. So yeah, I also read these, which again are just a continuation of the series, so I'm not going to spoil it. Next, I had another really exciting pre-order come in, and that is The Court of the Dead by Rick Riordan and Mark Ashiro. This is the second in the... It's just called the Nico D'Angelo adventure. So it is a Percy Jackson book, technically, because it is in the world of Percy Jackson. So if you want to know how to read the books in order of chronology, it would go Percy Jackson and the Olympians, and then you would read the Heroes of Olympus, and then this takes place after the Heroes of Olympus, but during and after the new Percy books. So, like, these take place after Heroes of Olympus, but this is happening at the same time. This and The Sun and the Star, like, they're happening at the same time, so you can read them concurrently. They don't cross over. Like, there's a mention, I think, in The Sun and the Star about asking Percy for help, and they're like, oh no, he's busy, and what he's busy with is what's in those books. So it is like acknowledged, but it's not like there's no spoilers or anything. So honestly, can we just, like, the edges? I know, I'm all over the place. So The Court of the Dead follows on from The Sun and the Star, and there are consequences to what happened in The Sun and the Star, where monsters have decided they don't want to be monsters anymore. And so Nico gets a call from his sister at Camp Jupiter, and she's like, yeah, I need your help with something. And it's a bit awkward, so can you just come to Camp Jupiter and we'll deal with it when you're here? And so off go Nico and Will to Camp Jupiter to solve the problem that Hazel has created herself by giving monsters refugee status in Camp Jupiter. Yeah, that's what she did. If you've not read Percy Jackson, none of this is making sense to you. Absolutely none of it, because this is a long time in the making. But yeah, things start to go wrong when people start disappearing from Camp Jupiter, and they need to figure out what the heck is going on, or what the Hades is going on, really. And lastly, the last thing that I finished, although I was reading it, like, in between reading other things as well, was Poems and Awe by Len Penny. This is the second set of poems by Len Penny. The first one is just called Poems, and yes, it's poems, it's with Y. Poems. And this is a collection of mixed poems in Scots and in English. Scots is an official recognised language in Scotland, and it's funny because a lot of us will speak like Scots and English at the same time, like you mix it together. It with, for example, Scots word, I know, Scots. Like, there are things that are Scots that I will say that I don't know if they're Scots or not, because that's just how I speak them. Anyway, it's just how I say them. But yeah, so the first collection was a lot about abuse and about sort of the way that women are treated by men and by the courts and by the police and by like other people online and things like that, and it was very, very dark. This is not quite as dark. There are some very, very dark poems in here, but there is a lovely, beautiful poem dedicated to her dad. There's one about a hedgehog. There is one that is called The Vow, which she has been giving it for free for people to use at their weddings. There's one for a funeral. There are so many, like the variety in this is much, much higher. There's actually a dual line, like a bilingual poem in this, and I'm never going to find it to actually tell you what it is, but it switches between Scots and English. No, it's called bilingualism, so I would find it. So, for example, I'm not going to read the whole thing out, you need to buy the book to read the whole thing, but it goes English, Scots, English, Scots, English, Scots. So the first 2 lines go like this. 2 distinct entities dance in my brain. They hangs we all kin, who were telt as a way. So there you go, like, the second line is in Scots, the first one is in English, and it continues to go like that all the way down. There's no there's no limit to Len's talent. There are things about Palestine here, there are things about the justice system again, but again, there's like a poem about a hedgehog. It's amazing. I love this. I love Len. Me and Vicky again went and met her, and she did readings and talked about it and signed the books and stuff. So yeah, if anything, like, it's only 127 pages. That's not that many poems. I definitely think everybody should get this. There we go. Those are the books that I read in the month of September, which is impressive for me since I was slumping so badly in the month of August. So yeah, hopefully this continues and I can ride this through. Murderbot definitely helped. I did also binge watch the entire first season of Murderbot, I'm not gonna lie, and I loved it. I loved it. The actors were spot on. They were exactly, like nearly exactly how I imagined in my head, except for Murderbot, but that's fine. Not that I didn't imagine Alexander Skarsgård, because after I knew he was going to be Murderbot, I did imagine him, but like with the skin and stuff, I didn't imagine, like I imagined like skin to here and then robot, but because obviously anyway, you know what I mean. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it was great. I'm so looking forward to them continuing the seasons, and I'm so looking forward to the next Murderbot book coming out next year. Once again, Vicky was right, Tori was right, Bobby was right. Yep, I get it. I knew I was going to love Murderbot. No, they knew I was going to love Murderbot. That's just like Heartstopper all over again, where I was like, I don't like Murderbot, and then I read it, and well, you can see. So yeah, trust your friends, guys. Trust your friends when they tell you you're going to like books, because 9 times out of 10 they're right. 9 times out of 10 they're right. If you want to let me know you were here, if you just leave me some kind of emoji that relates to Murderbot, so if you want to leave me a moon for Sanctuary Moon, if you want to leave me a little robot, or something that makes you think of Murderbot in the comments, that would be amazing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!